We got some old films, new films, any kind of shitty films. We caught it Tuesday night, so it's there in the morning. Least is a shaky ship, surprised he made it through the week. And then he turns his head and find that Darren is snoring. Jim's on the other line, euphemisms all the time. While Mr. Rouse sits around sticking his claws in. Elton's got the heebie-jeebie spinning how he's doing wheelies. Winston's looking sheepish like he pissed on the floor again. All we want is a coronary impression. It's not narcolepsy if it's 1 in the morning.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Black Dog Podcast episode 352.
That's my age.
That's
Been quite some time, haven't you?
Sorry?
As you might have guessed, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 70s comedian Norman Collier joining us here on the podcast.
Oh dear. Right. Anyway, I'm sure it was really funny, Elton. We just missed all of it.
Oh, that's fine.
Never mind.
Go on, Norman, do that other part of your comedy act where you act like a chicken. Go on. There you go. Well, that's all your ammo spent.
That's it.
Your comedy ammo.
That's it. All done.
No, we're bringing Bernie Clifton
And on his chicken.
on his
Ostrich, wasn't
fucking
it?
ostrich. Yeah.
There you go.
But it's not an ostrich, is it? It's just you in a pair of furry leggings, isn't it?
Welcome everyone to We Remember the 70s. 70s light
Behind the curtain edition.
Yeah, exactly. 70s light entertainment podcast. Actually, this could be Ready Player One for the over 50s.
It could be, couldn't it?
Bernie Clifton racing along, and then Orville comes in, and then Des O'Connor does, name
Firing
that tune.
his Synatogen gun.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. See? There you go. We got Ready Player One Part 2 sorted.
We have, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
This time it's old.
This time it's the 70s. But anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 352. This is our Patreon episode. Well, not Patreon as in you've paid to listen to it, but Patreon as in we've got a Patreon who's paid to make us watch a film. Hey! There you go. I'm Lee.
I haven't heard
I'm
Mr.
Darren.
Al for a long time.
Oh, Mr. Owl. Yeah, Mr. Owl's been gone. Mr. Owl's been on a worldwide tour sorting out Brexit.
That's gone well, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's
He
what
took the expenses money and ran.
pretty much like the people actually trying to negotiate Brexit. Funny enough,
Yeah, true.
taking the expense.
Bit of politics. Ooh, that.
Yeah. So okay, let's do that again. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim. I'm Elton, and a little bit scared at the moment.
Yay! The wheels are coming off. And this week, yes, we'll do our Patreon movie, which will be The Whole 9 Yards, which was suggested to us by generous, lovely Patreon Zarish Catlin Hallett, not Dr. Will. He was at great pains to mention that he has his own Patreon, and so therefore he will make his own decisions at another time.
Yes.
So Zarish was the one who picked this. And we will be hearing from them a little bit later on when we come to review the film. But before we do that, we will see how everyone's week's been. Yeah, let's start with you, Jim. How has it been, sir? Oh, sorry, I'm doing that. Oh my God!
You've got windy Collier pops. syndrome. Darren hit him on the back.
Yeah, I've got windy pops. I need some gripe water. I've got trapped wind. No, help.
Am I going to have to throw you over my shoulder and slap you very hard on the back?
If you do get the camera on, that's another Patreon extra.
Yeah, it's Black Dog, the Marvin Gaye session.
Yeah. Black Dog Spankers edition. Spankers holiday.
Black Dog After Dark.
Anyway, Jim, how is your week, sir?
Not being the best, really. As I alluded to previously, this week I had to go for a tooth out, which was every bit as fun as it absolutely wasn't. And so consequently, I've had another week trying not to guzzle codeine and painkillers while my face gets better. Still sore today, nearly a week on. Kind of,
Ouch.
The actual extraction, that was fine and painless. It's just afterwards.
Yeah?
It's been rather hurty. But that's largely because I had a lingering sinus infection which flared up again after having oral traumas. So,
Oral
I've not
traumas.
really done an awful lot. I've been doing a lot of staying in because going out in the cold doesn't seem to makes my face hurt worse. So,
Yeah, I can imagine that.
yeah, so I have stayed in and been good, sort of.
Okay, fair
But I
enough.
did do some DIY and
Oh my God, why?
shirked the curse of the black dog.
Yeah. And?
Well, so I recently started getting back into some board games. And now we've got a big dining room table, but that's all set up for like dining on. And the front room's a lot cozier, in which we only have like a little small coffee table, which is fine most of the time. And I thought, if I get some wood, big bit of board, and then I sort of bound it with leather and made it look nice, and then put some sort of like clips on the bottom, I could actually just have an extra big tabletop I can just slot on top of this little coffee table.
Nice.
And so I I purchased board. I got a big roll of nice faded green old leather, an industrial stapler, industrial glue,
Party in a bag right
and
there.
prepared
God.
for a trip to Casualty. And as it was, it's kind of, I'll just measure up the leather and we'll go out to the shops. And then half an hour later, yep, all done. Ooh,
Nice.
no scratch on me. Went out, came back, the house hadn't burnt down.
Wow.
So I was very pleased with my handiwork. It looks jolly nice. And when it's not in use, just hides behind the sofa, out of the way.
Nice.
So I'm very
Unfortunately,
pleased with that.
all the carpet comes up every time you lift the table.
I did have a test run where I test stapled some cardboard and did staple it to one of the placemats on the dining table. But that's as bad as it got. So that was,
Wow.
that was Casualty.
Yeah. Wow. You really are taking your life in your hands nowadays, being part of this
I know.
podcast and doing DIY. That's just asking for
That's the
trouble.
curse of the black dog man.
Cool. Anything else, sir?
Yes, that's about it for me, really.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, fair enough. In which case, we shall move on to you then, Elton. How's your week been, sir?
It's been very good, actually.
Okey-dokey.
I was on night call this week and ended up with no calls. So good thumbs up, money for nothing and all that. So
Chicks
I
for
was
free.
quite happy with that.
Is that a late night chat line?
Money for nothing and chicks for free. Yeah, it comes on right after that film Oral Trauma.
Oh, yeah. No, that's something that nobody wants to see. Honestly, no. We're not going down that route. Not ending up on Babe Station. What's Babe Station?
Yep, no idea what Baby Station is.
And we took a little walk around the village, and we were hoping to see some lambs being lambed or born, or whatever the term is, to have a baby lamb come out of a sheep. And by the time we got to this place that was doing this, they'd already had all of their lambs
Okay.
the days before. So nuts. But we were walking around and saw all these lambs bouncing around in the field. It was all very lovely and spring-like, and the sun was shining. It was, it's getting that time of year now. So all spirits were up. And we walked down the road, walked down this little alleyway with like a trail, and one of the little baby lambs had somehow got on the wrong side of the fence.
Okay.
And so you had a whole field full of sheep and lambs bounding around, and this mother lamb with her other little baby stood next to this one on the other side of the fence, and kind of talking to it, saying, "Get the fuck back over here. What are you doing on that side?"
Right.
And he was going,
Sheep were saying that to the... Wow.
it was doing that stampy thing. So she was very agitated, and we were getting closer and like, is there anything we can do? And she looked
proper cheesed off.
Yeah.
And so we thought, okay, well, what we'll do, we'll take a walk around the fields, and if we can't find anything or anyone that can help us, then we'll have to come back and then try and deal with it ourselves. And so we took a little wander around, did our little thing, came back, and the lamb was still roughly in the same area with its mum still having to go at it. So coaxed it out after about half hour, picked it up gracefully and dropped it on the other side of the fence and reunited the whole family. So that was like a real good, feel-good moment. So, yeah.
Did the mummy
that's the
sheep
highlight of
salute
my
you?
week. Sorry?
Did the mummy sheep salute you? You know, it's like, thanks,
Well-
thanks, Elton.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to get the country file music to start playing. Came in too hot. I'm sorry, it came in way too hot. But let's just enjoy the country file music for a second.
And now it's
No,
Country
the-
Files, starring Elton Craven.
Yeah. The sheep didn't salute me, but she did have that kind of look on her face of, you've just done something, haven't you? Thank you very much.
Yes.
And instead of the stampy and aggressive thing, it was more, look at you. You're a human. I have 2 kids now. I'm now going to walk away. And he was like, yeah, okay, cool. Got all
Yeah.
the warm and fuzzies. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
very happy with that.
Cool.
She probably
On the other
actually
end of
thought,
the game-
thought,
Oh, sorry,
quick
mate.
child, come away before he puts you in a sandwich.
Oh, yeah, we did come home and have lamb that evening. As well, which is kind of ironic. And
Mint
I'm not
sauce.
lying about that. We did definitely have lamb. Fucking gorgeous as well, man.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
Mate,
Yeah.
really?
On the other end of the scale, I've been watching. What program is it? The End of the Effing World.
Oh, that is excellent.
Yeah.
Have you seen? Have you done it? Have you
Yeah,
done
I
the whole
watched
lot
it
yet,
ages
Darren?
ago. Me and Reese sat and watched the whole thing. We did the whole series in one day.
Oh, okay.
It was, yeah, we
Cool.
were just engrossed by the whole thing. It was, you know, we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I am really, really enjoying it. I would recommend it to anyone to get in and watch this. They're quite short episodes, aren't they? About 20.
About 22, 23 minutes. So you haven't actually
Yeah.
finished the series yet?
Not finished yet, no. I think I may have 1 episode left or 1.5 episodes left to do. But yeah, it's well worth a watch.
I wish I could be there for you, just to watch you watch the last episode. I just want to see if your reaction at the end of the series was the same as mine.
Right.
Okay.
I will report on that next week because no doubt I will be finishing it this week.
Nice.
Okay, that's great.
Okay. Cool. Well, okay. Well, I can't remember what it's about. I remember Darren mentioning it, but I can't remember what it's about.
Okay, just a quick recap. Okay, just for anybody else who's interested in seeing it.
Because it's on Netflix now.
It is, that's right. It's about 2 young people who decide to run away. In fact, it's
One
it's
thinks
a girl
he's a
and a boy.
psychopath.
Yeah, one thinks he may very well be a serial killer,
That's it.
and you've got a girl who's been not exactly had the world's the best life, and she decides to run away with him, and it's what those 2 get up to on this road trip that they go on this journey that they take themselves on, and. Like I say, if those 2 don't, the 2 main actors in it, if they don't see any kind of award for the performances they played, then there is no justice, really.
They both deserve something, don't they?
No, they're great. Don't get me wrong. All round, there's great performances in that show, but just those 2 themselves just give really affecting performances. I think, I mean. You start off I started feeling one way about one character, but then by the end of it, I loved the both of them.
Jessica Barden and Alex Lawther, according to this.
Those 2,
Yeah.
they're
And
just
it's their
brilliant.
inner monologues that really work superbly well.
They're brilliant, really, really good.
Okay. Cool.
So
So that's worth sticking on the pile of all the things I've got to watch.
Yeah.
on Netflix.
It's a very easily digestible series. You will, I mean, me, it was just like popping Tic Tacs. It was just, quick, get the next one on, get the next one on, get the next one on.
Yeah.
And then, we've come to the last one. No! So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, I'll stick that on the pile because I've got about 30 fucking things to watch on Netflix at this point, and I'm running out of actual amount of hours in the day.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it's a good job I've upped my fucking data on my phone now because otherwise I wouldn't be getting through half the shit I'm getting through on Netflix.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Anything else, Elton?
No, that's it. That's it
Right.
for now.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, we'll check back in on the end of the effing world when you next week. Then see how you're doing with that, and then you and Darren can have a spoiler conversation, I guess, because he clearly was very eager to say something as you were saying something.
Yeah,
You could see it. You could. Yeah, he had his little clawy hands of emotion, intensity out there, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to say something," and he couldn't. Bless him.
I can't.
Bless him.
It's like, no, I can't even say that.
No, you can't. No, you can't. I may even put a kibosh on it by saying I'm watching it now, and then just say I'm on episode 1, and then just not move on with episode 1.
Shit, you absolute shit.
Yeah, well, I've been in that kind of mood, to be honest. So anyway, okay, then over to you, Mr. B. How's your week been?
It's been a week of watching stuff.
Okay.
So I'm still carrying on with Marvel. I got to the end of Luke Cage, thoroughly enjoyed that, and I started on Iron Fist.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't be. I'm into, like, I've done 3 episodes of this so far, and I'm not finding it too bad at all. I'm
Really?
actually quite enjoying it.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I've done such a motherload of these shows that I'm now seeing where everything crosses over, and like, things blur. One show blurs into another because of this character or this happening, and I have a better understanding of what's going on because I've watched the previous sort of like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. Because I've watched those, there's certain aspects of Iron Fist that I understand. I mean, I've never actually read any Iron Fist stuff personally. I don't really know that much about the character. But yeah, I actually didn't find it too bad at all. I'm not hating it.
Okay.
It's keeping my interest. And that.
But in fairness, as we've already established over 352 episodes, a box of Lego will keep your interest.
Fuck you.
Or some stickle bricks.
But this is this is where I've now come to my little complaint about Netflix.
Yeah,
Marvel,
you hinted at this before we started recording. What?
TV shows. They need to rename the entire sort of section of Marvel on here as Marvel Presents Someone Turn the Fucking Light On. Because, and then like apostrophe Iron Fist or apostrophe Luke Cage or apostrophe Jessica Jones. Admittedly, Luke Cage suffers less from it.
Right.
But it's just everything is in the fucking dark. It's like you've got Netflix, right, which they expect people to watch on their phone, right?
Yes.
I'm out in daylight, okay? I can see everything that's going on. I'm like last 30 seconds. This is a perfect example. Last 30 seconds of the episode 3 of Iron Fist.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'm just hearing people shuffle around, and then it's like I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, I can't see what the fuck is going on. And then I hear the dramatic end of episode music. It's just like big revelation time. And it's like, what? That they've run out of 50p's for the fucking meter? Is that what it is? Is that the big fucking revelation? Is this what this whole TV Marvel universe is gearing up to?
Yeah.
That nobody's got change?
Sponsored by EDL.
Exactly. They've run out of credit on their fucking key and have got to go down to the off licence on the corner and get a recharge. Somebody's got to put money on it. So maybe that's where all the budget went. It's gone into all the stuff during daytime, and they didn't have enough money to pay for the electricity.
Right.
So, Netflix, come on now. Slightly increase the ambient light.
Could I make a suggestion though?
Yeah.
Have you tried watching that episode at home
I'm going
instead of
to.
on your phone in brilliant daylight?
Everything. No, it's not in bright, brilliant daylight. It's just standard daylight. But it's just I can see everything else, and it came to the last 30 seconds. And it's done that on Daredevil. It's done that on Jessica Jones as well. And it's just like, so I can't watch this on the move. I can't watch this standing up. I've got to wait until I'm in special light conditions to watch it on in mobile.
So we're not going to watch Darkman then.
What do you mean? Mr. Mumbly shuffles around in the dark and solves stuff.
The Babadook.
Babadook. There we go.
We'll do that, or the end of the Vitch.
Yeah. So slight increase the ambient light just so I can see silhouettes doing stuff.
Have you tried turning the light up on your phone?
I have. I've got it on full brightness, and still all I can see is like one or two street lights, and that's it.
You know what they say though. It's your contrast cones that go first in your eyes with your age.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck off. But anyway.
Should have gone the Specsavers.
Yeah, fuck off. So, that's the first one. But yeah, as I say, with Iron Fist, I'm not finding it too bad. I'm actually, intrigued to see where it's going to go from here. So there's that. Secondly, I took the plunge, and I've heard, I got a good report back from certain individuals about a film called Witch or The Vitch, as it's actually
kind of typographically stuck out. Yeah,
exactly. But I mean, grammatically, it's correct for the time because they never had a W back then, and they used to use two V's to represent the W sound. Yeah, it's all set in. It's basically it's set in New England, way back like 200-300 years ago, when the settlers had just come over and they're things are just getting set up in America. The Pilgrims, and it's just like it's good to see that they're doing it with proper English accents, like northern accents. I can't remember the name of the lead actor in this. He was in The Office as David Brent's mate.
Yep.
Lee to the IMDb.
I'm on it.
Kinsey Crook.
No, it's not him. It's the guy who played. His cocky mate from up north. It's him, the one who said, if I throw this shoe over a house, I'm more intelligent than you." Him, the guy who plays that part.
Ralph Ineson.
Ralph. That's it. Ralph Ineson. Now, what I like is I like actors who I've seen in like comedy roles come out of their comfort zone and do something quite serious. And I mean, you can't really get much more serious than Witch.
No. Right?
It is a pretty much a dark and serious film. And when I say dark, I mean really, really dark. It's just, I had to sit there with a torch. It was that dark.
Oh, right. Not dark as in dark themed.
No, well, it is dark themed. This is what I mean. But a metaphorical torch, shall we say.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, yeah, set in New England way back then. Witch trials, stuff like that. And it starts off with a family being banished from a settlement because the father is unhappy with the way the word of Christ is being taught to children and everybody else. He doesn't believe the elders of the village are actually good enough to teach the word of Christ to the congregation that's there. So they all up and leave. And they find they set themselves up in just by this forest, the edge of this forest on this land as farmland, and it kind of goes at a right angle from there,
just a bit.
Now I have to say, performances all round, absolutely brilliant. If we were judging on performances alone, then I would say top notch.
Best performance by a goat. Black
Phillip, indeed. Best performance by a goat. But again, it's Ralph Ellison. He really, for me, stood out. I actually, up until the very last part of it when things go completely spare, I actually didn't mind his character at all. I thought he was
with Black Phillip.
I thought he was possibly one of the most sanest people in that film. Because the mother definitely wasn't.
Who was also the medic in Prometheus.
Yep, and she was also in Game of Thrones as the as the girl goes through the moon door.
Yeah,
she's the Mad Queen, isn't
The Mad
she?
Queen, yeah.
Kate Dickie. is her
That's
name.
the one, Kate Dickie. But the kids in it, all brilliant. And basically their life on that farm slowly gets dismantled by the presence of this witch that's in the forest.
Yeah, sorry. Go carry on.
And you never really see. Oh God, we're back to Country File.
Country File theme.
Country File theme.
Yeah.
I've got to say there was some dodgy bits in that film as well. It's just, it's like the boy, the way he was looking at his older sister and stuff like that. It's just kind of like, where is this going?
Yes.
There was that. And what have you.
It didn't quite go the way you're
but it
implying,
looked like it. Well, it's just the implication was there.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you think?
What you mean? The bit where you see him looking at her, and then it focuses in on a breast and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, well, there's his focus. When she's bending that, yeah, because she's down by the river and he's standing over and he's just staring at her.
Okay. Jim, you've seen this, haven't you?
Yes.
Watch it again.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not disappointed.
Watch that again.
I'm just double checking with Jim because I obviously must have missed that.
It
bit.
happens a couple of times, and it's
Yeah?
just like,
It is there. I think that's part of the thing of isolation and there's a reason why people shouldn't go off and live with their families in cabins in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't end well usually.
exactly. So, and I think this is a bit like Annihilation. This film,
Right.
It's you
Mileage will vary.
you'll enjoy the performances and everything in it, and you'll probably like the film. You won't love it, but I think this is something a little bit different.
Definitely, I go along with that.
Indeed, and the end will probably piss a few people off.
Really?
I think it will.
Okay.
Just because there's no, it's not a clean cut thing. It just stuff happens. It's like 2001 where it just
chuck stuff at you.
chucks stuff at you.
Okay.
I mean, I get it. I understand what's happened.
Yeah.
But it will piss.
It's hard to discuss without spoilers, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You can't really say. But it's just there's nothing for the last 3 minutes of the film. There's nothing really said. You just see. That's it.
Okay.
The process starts, and then
You're off.
that's it. You just see stuff.
Okay. So, are we all kind of vaguely saying that maybe we should stick this on the docket to have a
I think we
proper?
should really, because I think there's a
chat.
good discussion to be had here. Because
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
see what everyone makes of the ending.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if this
Yeah.
is maybe a good double bill to have. And I've never seen this thing. I've heard people like it. I've never
Yeah.
watched it.
Yeah.
But there's a film called A Field in England,
Oh, good lord.
which is about two soldiers who come
Yeah, I
across
know.
an alchemist.
I know a field in England.
Yeah?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is done around about the
that's
same
Ben Wheatley,
time.
isn't it, Jim?
Yeah.
It is Ben Wheatley.
Yeah.
It's got Reece Shearsmith from The League
Yeah.
of Gentlemen in it, who plays. I think it's him who plays the alchemist.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Rural horror season.
Yeah.
Stick the ritual in there as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Ritual.
The ritual with was it
Yes.
Rafe Spall?
Yes.
See,
Because I watched that. Watch that as well.
Yep. Hold on. Go on. Sorry, go on,
Jim. Go ahead. Go on.
No, I would, for a double bill for the witch, I'd either go for one of the classic folk horrors, either Blood and Satan's Claw or Witchfinder General.
Oh, Witchfinder General.
Because they both have that kind of gritty. The
Okay.
olden days weren't all people going yodelo fiddle-de-row like they do at medieval fucking fairs. It's people covered in shit who are off the fucking tits and seeing witches and demons and being brutal to each other.
Okay. So let's see if we got this straight. The Witch, Blood on Satan's Claw. What was the other one? The Field in England.
The Ritual.
And The Ritual. For your full on fuck going in the forest and fuck old times days.
But there's no pilgrim hats in The Ritual.
No, there is no pilgrim hats in The Ritual. Actually, maybe we'll have to think of another one.
Witchfinder. Witchfinder General.
Well, Witchfinder General and Blood in Satan's Claw. Then I guess.
Yeah. So the Witch. Witchfinder General, Blood and Satan's Claw, and A Field in England.
Wow. Yeah, that's
going to be that's going to be that's a downer month. That is, I think.
I think it'll be like, yeah.
And then the week after, we take things up a notch with The Road.
Yeah. We'll just follow it. Just follow it with Frozen. Just take it right up.
Indeed.
Okay, I'll make a note on this piece of paper over here.
Okay, that's fine. But yes, I did watch The Ritual as well. We sat down and watched The Ritual over the weekend.
Yes. All I'm going to do is this. Pop. That's all I'm going to do. Pop.
Man, that was again, I kind of enjoyed that. I think it's got one of the most original looking
critters
I've seen in any film. And that was really well done. I really like that. I've got to say props to the special effects department.
Yeah,
for that one. It was something out of a nightmare. That thing.
Yeah. It was a unique design, I'll give it that.
Yeah, it's like you're really not expecting this.
Yeah.
And when you finally see it in all its glory, it's like,
what am I looking at?
Exactly. I don't even know which angle to put myself on the sofa to actually see this properly. It's just
it's just all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's great. It's really good. Again, it's a British horror film, so it's kind of reeled in the whole thing. It's not like some American horrors where it's quite in your face. This is, I don't know. There's something especially gritty.
It's more about atmosphere than it is anything else.
Indeed, and there's that real kind of down to earth thing that I think a lot of British characters, give. I think it lends an air to it.
Except for the fact that I thought they were. I mean, I probably won't have to say too much before we review it, but what I will say about that one was they're all pretty down to earth and pretty straightforward, and I imagine their reactions to most things would be like us four reactions to most things, which is essentially fuck that for most of it.
Yes.
but there's just when they have to sleep in the cabin and there's that fucking tree thing up in the loft, it'd be like, no, I'm outside.
Yeah,
I know it's raining.
I'm killing it with fire. It's made of wood. I'm killing it with fire.
Burn everything.
Burn the fucking thing down.
Burn everything twice.
So anyway, we go from
Hans, bring the flamethrower.
So we go from dark and nasty now into the light. But the final thing I saw this weekend, went to the cinema and saw Coco.
Yes, and
really enjoyed it.
So good.
Yeah, although I will be putting in a complaint to the Odeon that they need to get better cleaning staff because it was very dusty. It was very dusty in that cinema.
Shocking the amount of dust in those cinemas.
Oh my God, did you find that as well when you went?
Yeah. I practically choked on the dust by the end of it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I literally had my knuckles in my mouth.
Yeah.
Trying not to be affected by the dust.
Yeah. Well, I've given up now. I just sit there and have a bloody good cry until the credits roll, and then the kids need to go to the toilet.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, you know what? I'll just go up and go to the toilet. I told you that story, didn't
You
I?
certainly did, yes.
Go to
Yeah.
the toilet. There's another guy in there with tears in his eyes, and he goes, "Don't."
Yeah. You as
might
well.
just
Coco. Go. Yeah.
Both standing in the men's loos, trying to splash water in our faces.
Honestly, it's the water from the tap. It is. I'm sweating at me away your eyes. Yes, my eyes are hot. I've got hot eyes. It's a condition. It really is.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Right Guard's deodorant for eyes? They sell it in all good chemists.
Yeah. No, I loved it.
Yeah, it's a really, really good film. It deals with the themes of losing or loss, loved ones, getting old, that kind of thing. And every time I think Pixar brings out a film, they show that graphically they've managed to master another sort of texture where it was like with The Incredibles, it was wet hair. They did that. And in this, it's old skin, right? I'm not joking. They've got wrinkled skin down to a bloody fine art in this film.
Stick that on the poster.
Yeah.
Coco, they've sorted out wrinkled skin, everybody.
Wrinkled skin, a new perfume from Lonfric.
Honest.
Wrinkled skin, poor hom.
So when Pixar do Scrote the movie, it's going to look absolutely superb. It really is. But no, the main character, or should I say, one of the actual the titular character in it, Coco, who is an old, very, very, very old wizened woman in this. It just the work that they've done on her face is just absolutely superb. It really is. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's possibly one of the most interesting looking characters I've come out with. It's just really effective.
Remember me.
Oh, stop it.
So I have to say goodbye to remember me. Fucking shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Just stop it now. It's too much.
I was planning on playing that,
Oh,
but then
man.
I just thought listening to two grown men crying is probably
Exactly.
not a good podcast.
No. So, I would, highly recommend it. And
It's superb.
yeah, take the kids to see it as well. Even Maria, she was in fucking balls of tears. She really was.
Yep.
Just that was it. I looked over and she just, that was it. She was a mess.
That's it. As soon as that happens, it's like then you're crying because they're crying. And, it just is an ongoing snowball of emotions.
No, it's just, you notice when I'm trying not to cry, you will notice that my face just goes dead, right? Because I'm using all the reserves. All the energy goes out of my muscles in every part of my body, and it's just
Wow.
trying to hold it all together.
So you're perpetually sad when you're recording this podcast.
I certainly am. It's like Darth Vader holding in, just using the Force to control the pain, right? That's what I'm doing right there.
Yeah. Oh man.
But, so yeah, go see it. It's a good. It's one of the. Pixar's done it again. They did it with fucking Up as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that opening fucking sequence in Up gets me, slays me every fucking time I see it.
I have not watched it since seeing it the first time.
No,
I can't.
I can't. It just that.
I can't even listen to the bloody Michael Giacchino music.
Oh man.
It's like, oh my god, and then it gets to the really slow piano bit, and that's oh no.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's one of those very effective opening sequences to a film that tells a story without even saying a word.
yep, you could have just ended it there, but then they went on with the rest of the film, and it was a bit. Anyway,
And I'm spent.
yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe Man Blood Month has to come back again.
Oh God, no! Don't do this to me. I'm going to be crushed under the weight of this emotional fucking tsunami that's going to hit me in the face.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, my week actually is that I have been a numb, miserable mess for reasons I can't even begin to announce. I don't even know why. I've just been properly.
So just yourself then.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I'd like to put out a big public thank you to Sarah for lunchtime coffees, which have been most appreciated. Even if I look like I've been sitting there with a face that looks like I'm trying to do calculus in my head.
So were they coffees or were they coffee plus?
What do you mean coffee
As in,
plus?
were there any kind of things added to it? You know?
Were they Irish?
Yeah,
No.
were they Irish
Irish.
coffees?
Not unless you count a bacon toasty. Bacon toasties.
You dropped a bacon toasty in them.
Yeah, everyone doesn't. Everyone drop
you
a bacon
big
toasty. Yeah, well, no. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you because she's been around going. I've been like miserable and just grumpy and generally, and I don't know why. I'm just being. It's just been that way for the last couple of days, and so she just was like, "Coffee." I'm like, "Yep." And then I'm sitting there, and she's trying to jolly me along, and we're having coffee, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, my face is visually doing this, and I'm feeling like that inside. So, you know, fair play to her for sticking through
Well
all
done,
that.
Sarah. Golf clap.
Yes, thank you very much. What else? Oh, I almost saw Pacific Rim.
Yes, you did. Didn't you?
I almost saw Pacific Rim, but then at last knockings, just nah.
Are we going to have this as a season?
What things I've not seen?
Almost films we almost saw.
Yeah, I literally bailed with like 10 minutes to go, and I just like nah.
Wow,
I
you were
can't.
playing cinematic chicken.
Yeah, see whether or not I could get all the way up to the moment when the doors opened, and then just bail.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. And after reading the story synopsis on Wikipedia this afternoon, I'm quite glad I did. But I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Okay, because I've seen many people on Facebook who've been to see it, and they've been like, "Yeah, thumbs up. This is great."
Okay, well, I mean, I haven't seen it in context, but I was curious this afternoon, and I checked it out, and I'm like, okay.
Well, I'm going to see it on Wednesday.
I'll
or should
be
I
interested
say
to hear what
tomorrow.
you think. Yes, well, tomorrow I'll be in Bristol.
Yes.
By the time this comes out, I'll be heading on down to Bristol. What else has happened in my week? Oh, went to see a Blade Runner double bill at the Prince Charles.
All right.
With Andy Placides, Will, and Zarish.
Mm-hmm.
And that was good. No, I have a realization to make now. I have an announcement to make.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
After
dear.
seeing them back to back, the second one is demonstrably, clearly a better film. A much better film.
Yeah.
So I actually like the sequel as opposed to the original now. More.
Very interesting.
So that's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a case of you might have seen the original one too many times?
Well, maybe, but I think what happened is I'm not going to say too much because when Andy comes back from the States, I'm going to do a thing on the Derelict podcast, and we're going to discuss it because there was a lot about it that we sort of realised when we could see them both back to back, sort of one apart from the other. But otherwise, what I would also say is that I did have a bit of a problem while watching the film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Zarish got in on the action as well. But we're sitting there, up the front, watching all of it going on. And by the way, I'd just like to say I still liked the original Blade Runner, but the second one just looks clearly head and shoulders above the other one. Mm-hmm. And there's this lady behind us. And she clearly has never been to the cinema before ever in her life.
So when a train came towards the screen, did she duck behind the seat? Or?
Not far off, okay? I mean, let's put it this way, right? Things happened, when shocking things happened, and I'm not going to spoil the films just in case someone hasn't seen 2049 and wants to still watch it. Mm-hmm. But when shocking bits of violence happen, she'd go, ooh, ah, ee, but happened with every quick cut. So if, for example, someone got punched in the face, she'd go, ooh, and if that person punched in the face then got thrown through a wall, she'd go, ee, and then when that person fell through the wall and landed on the floor, she'd be going, ah, right? That, in and of itself, is pretty fucking annoying. However, you've got to kind of just go with the fact that, if she's not seen the film before, all sorts of other things, sort of things, you can go, right, okay, you know what? Down with that. The problem is that ooh, ah, and e for every action continued on through the film to the point where, at one point, and this is not a spoiler, Ryan Gosling returns to a crime scene. The crime scene has been sealed with a plastic bag across the door, right?
Right.
With "Police do not cross" written on it, right? Now, we know from earlier that this location is utterly, utterly empty. There's nothing around for thousands and thousands of miles.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulls out a knife and she goes, and then he puts the knife into the plastic sealant over the crime scene, over the plastic door, cuts it, and she goes, ah! And then he slides the knife all the way down the plastic door so he can get into the crime scene. She's like, oh no. At which point, Andy got up and left. He got up and just fucked off to somewhere else in the cinema. And I turned round to the lady and, shall we say, forcefully suggested to her that perhaps maybe she should shut the fuck up and not react to every fucking thing that is happening on screen. Her reaction was to continually tap me on the shoulder for a full minute, going, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Really sorry. It's like, don't be sorry. Just leave me the fuck alone and shut the fuck up.
Rightly so.
And
did she go, ooh?
No, in fairness, she did knock it back a bit. She did do it a couple more times, but it wasn't like that. I mean, literally, it was a case of every fucking single action. It would have got to the point where when you see the big eye on the screen and all this kind of thing, and it blinked, you would imagine she would have gone, ooh, like that. It got to that point, but it's just like,
I had that in the Prince Charles with... there was one film I went to see, and this person laughed at everything. Everything. I think I went to see Schindler's List. They laughed at everything.
Downfall.
Exactly. No, it wasn't that. It was, what was it? It was a comedy that was kind of, had some bits to chuckle at it in, but this person really wanted everybody to know that he was cool enough. And I think you were there at the time, and you know the person I'm talking about.
Oh.
Because he was in, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And it was just like, I could almost see him. He was in the front row with us, and I could almost see him after he laughed at certain things that nobody else laughed at. Like, oh yeah, I got that joke and you didn't. You're all lesser than me. You could almost hear him turn round in his seat and give a smug look to the rest of the audience.
Yes.
Like, see, I get it.
Yes.
I'm fucking special.
Not half.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know how that feels, man.
Yes.
Like nails down a chalkboard.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, last thing. I had a bit of a nature thing. I might do that. Let's just fire this up.
Country file for the third time.
Yeah, we might just country file that fucker up. Hold on. There we go. Let's get country file thing.
Yeah. Country file, man.
Country file. Let's do this again.
I never expected to hear that sentence.
There you go.
You
Get
get the country file that this fucker up.
Yeah. John Craven says it before every show.
My man Craven.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to tune into that shit.
MC Craven.
MC Craven gets on down with his big bad Aaron Jumper self.
Yeah.
And
he's going to pop a couple of news rounds in your ass.
Anyway, God almighty, this is 70s throwback day, isn't it? And basically went to a little like conservation zoo, so Lisa could do this thing where she was feeding lemurs, where she had this little lemur feeding experience, which is pretty darn cool. They sat on a lap and ate carrots and everything, which is really cool. Then the next day we went to Greenwich Park, and I became a fully fledged Disney princess.
Did you now?
Yes, because I managed to walk through the garden area of this part of the park with peanuts in my hand.
Yeah.
I lifted them up and I had blue tits landing on my hand eating nuts.
You had
Make your own jokes up, ladies and gentlemen. I had blue tits and nuts in my hand.
tits on your nuts.
Tits on my nuts and what? Great tits. Yeah.
Were they great tits?
They
or
were.
is that just conjecture? Are you just,
Well, that was Carol saying that, so I mean, you know,
or were they just all right?
they were right. Yeah.
No.
Would you say they were great tits, Carol?
They were great tits.
Or just
They
average?
were great tits.
Just average tits.
They were great tits.
They were great tits.
Yeah, they were great tits.
How many,
what was
were there?
Oh, there was about 5.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're talking Battlestar Galactica 70s version.
Well, I was thinking more sort of Total Recall.
Oh, that's it. Yes, sorry. Yes.
But anyway, what was that one that you saw? What was that called? That was Nuthatch. There was a Nuthatch as well. So we saw a Nuthatch. I had tits in my hand and nuts in my hand.
Do you know what? I think I'm gonna do a competition for the Black Dog. It's gonna be
Take this phrase.
It's gonna be wild animal, or just make it or double entendre.
Double entendre. So yeah, but no, they actually flew down and they were on my fingers and eating the nuts out of my hand. And I've actually got video evidence of me.
Sorry, this is just so wrong. I'm so much a 12-year-old. I'm so 12-year-old. I really am.
Yeah. So there you go.
So you had your nuts in your hand.
Yeah,
And
tits everywhere.
tits all over. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got control of yourself yet?
I'm fine.
But apart from that, been a right miserable fucker, so I'm doing all right. There you go. Hey. Oh, and I started watching The Expanse again on Netflix, which is why I was saying about throw another film on the pile.
Okay,
'Cause-
I'm going to have to.
Watch The Expanse.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it another go, I think.
Yeah. It takes a bit of getting used to because that first episode, I was watching it again, and that first episode is really Mumbles McGinty and his mates Mumbles and Mumbles. Because
Yeah.
you're just like sitting there going, what the fuck is going on here?
Is it? Because it's like the Wire.
Mm.
Through that, I found the show like
Slowly translated itself.
Well, I had to actually put subtitles on the Wire because people mumbled in that, and all you got was blah, 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 you feel me. It's like, feel you? I can hardly fucking hear you. You know, it's just man. And
Yeah.
I kind of I enjoyed the show a lot more with subtitles on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it made my brain do the little leap between bits that I couldn't hear properly.
Yeah. No, it's not quite that bad. But the opening couple of episodes of The Expanse are definitely Mumbles-centric. But
Right.
it gets much better as they move away from Thomas Jane talking into his neck.
'Cause that's a Blu-ray time bomb waiting to happen.
What's
Because you
that?
know how they don't get the sound mix right on Blu-rays. That's
Oh,
it.
God, no.
You know, they take the speech and they lower the volume so that you get you turn it right up. And you still can't hear him properly, so you have to get your ear right up close to the speaker on the TV. And then all of a sudden, somebody cuts the green wire rather than the blue on a bomb, and the whole thing goes off. And suddenly, there's blood coming out of your nose,
Out your eyes.
exactly everywhere.
Yeah.
Ragged eardrums.
Yeah, you know what that is? That's her 5.1 mix being played. You
Yeah.
need to switch it to stereo rather than 5.1
You do? Oh, right. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll remember that.
on your audio settings.
I shall do that in future.
There you go. Anyway, unless of course you've got a 5.1 setup, in which case it's just your 5.1 setup's fucked.
I've not got a 5.1 setup.
Oh, well, then it's, yeah, there you go. See, hints and tips on the Black Dog podcast. There to help you
Yeah.
get the most out of your Blu-rays. Right. Okay, well, that's that. Shall we get on with this film then? The Patreon-funded movie of the month.
Let's do that.
Before I start this, because I've got to pick a jingle, obviously, has any of us seen this?
No.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, so it's a magical mystery tour for all of us. Let's roll a jingle.
Ooh, we're watching a new movie we've never seen before. I'm buttering my nipples and waxing my ass. Roll up the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up
Masturbation.
for the Mystery Monica film. Roll up for the Mystery Monica film. The Mystery Monica film is waiting for us to hit play. Going to watch it today. What will we say? Hey Pablo, I need a heroin needle and a watermelon.
Right, okay, so... Sorry, Darren's face. That's the end of the jingle.
I know, but it's all I got was watermelon. It's right in the ear hole.
Well, you know. Okay, well, it's a good way to start the review, isn't it? Right, okay, so The Whole Nine Yards is a 2000 American crime comedy film directed by Jonathan Lynn, who had previously worked on films such as Nuns on the Run, Clue, Greedy, Sergeant Bilko, My Cousin Vinny. Wow. Anyway, and it's starring Bruce Willis, Matthew Perry, Amanda Peet, Michael Clark Duncan, and Natasha Henstridge. The title derives from a popular expression of uncertain origin, which may derive from sayings analogous to the whole kit and caboodle. And lengthy. Oh my God, this tells you something. The wiki's more concerned about where the phrase "the whole 9 yards" comes from. I'm just going to skip over that. A sequel, "The Whole 10 Yards," was released in 2004. The budget was $41.3 million, and it made what at the box office, Jim?
$6 million.
Okay, Elton.
42 million.
Okay, Darren.
It made a whole £9.
Well, it actually made $106 million. And it was released on February the 18th, year 2000. Also starring Kevin Pollak as well. I forgot to mention him. It was written by Mitchell Kapner, who hasn't featured on anything else as far as Wiki's concerned. There's nothing under production at all. However, so we'll skip straight to critical reaction. The Whole 9 Yards received mixed reviews from critics. Review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gives the film a 45% rating based on 100 reviews, with an average of 5.2 out of 10, and the site's consensus reading: despite a charming cast, The Whole 9 Yards could only tickle half the critics' funny bones. The other half thought it was underwhelming and a depressing sitcom. Metacritic gave the film an average of 47% based on 32 reviews, and the audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B on an A+ to F scale. Only positive review was Roger Ebert, who gave the film a more positive review, noting in particular the highlight was Amanda Peet's performance as Jill, which Ebert called perfect. Some facts from IMDb. The answer phone message from Bruce Willis to Matthew Perry about cutting legs off and having him drag across the carpet and all that kind of stuff. That was actually a genuine message when Bruce Willis tried to contact Matthew Perry to get him to take part in the film, while unbeknownst to him, Perry was on vacation. After a few weeks of trying to get hold of him, Willis eventually left the famous line, "I will chop off your legs, set fire to your house, and watch you drag on Perry's answer machine." They thought it was so funny that they actually included it in the film.
Right, okay.
The owners of the two houses that were featured in the film both paid $50,000 each on the condition that they left their houses for a month, while the house with flies in it was so infested with flies it was actually impossible to prevent them from appearing in several scenes. The shot of Jill twisting her ankle was not scripted. Jonathan Lynn liked the take so much that he left it in the film. And a lot of the photographs of that Oz recognises his neighbour Jimmy the Tulip in newspaper pictures were actually pictures from Die Hard 2's promotional pack, which I think pretty much everyone spotted, given the
That big jumper, isn't
that
it?
big jumper. Yeah, exactly.
Are we sure that one of those wasn't a Hudson Hawk picture? Because there's one
Yeah.
there where he's in small, tiny, sort of John Lennon style sunglasses.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might be, but the only one they've got listed here is Die Hard 2. What's it? Oh God Almighty! This tells you how far down the well that they have had to scrape for the facts and trivia. Matthew Perry plays the main love interest opposite Courtney Cox on Friends. At the time of the film's release, Cox was married to David Arquette, the real-life brother of Rosanna Arquette, who also plays Perry's character's wife in the film.
Wow.
There you go.
It's like a big onion. It has many
Stinks.
layers.
Stinks and makes me cry. Anyway, none of us have seen it, so I think we'll go round the table as per usual, which means Elton. You get first
Okie-dokie.
dibs, dude. What did you think of the whole 9 yards?
I'm the lucky one to go first, aren't
You
I?
are. You are the sacrificial lamb of the lambing season.
Okay. I didn't mind this as much as I thought I would.
Okay.
I think I quite enjoyed it. Now,
That's wow. That's the most half-assed thumbs up I've ever heard in my life.
Do you want to take yourself away and have a word with yourself? just to check. Taboo liked it.
Yeah, we'll wait. We'll just put an albatross in. You can have a little quick word with yourself.
no, it's, okay. Right. I think you have a collection of really good actors in here. Right? I think this film shows how much the world misses Michael Clarke Duncan as well. Because I kind of miss him in films.
Don't put me in the dark. Don't put me in the dark,
I think he's fantastic.
Mr. Jingle.
Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis in Oral Trauma.
The whole 9 inches.
Bruce Willis
Don't
and the
put
Great
that in
Tits.
my mouth.
Bruce Willis in the Great Tits.
That was his band, wasn't it?
Probably.
Bruce Willis
Yes.
is. I wouldn't say he's phoning it in, but there's a certain charm to him throughout this film. He's clearly not in his Die Hard era, but he is venturing on his Hudson Hawk style thing. He knows he's Bruce Willis and he's there to fill a role, and he just hams it up a little bit. But he's I think he's a little bit more controlled than he is sometimes in other movies. So he's playing it down a little bit. Matthew Perry, now, I was expecting him to go full-on Chandler throughout this because I'm a massive fan of Friends and I've seen that a million times.
Right.
So I've seen him pretty much every day because we sit down and watch that every day because it's on Comedy Central all the time now.
Right.
Or the
And
Friends
so
channel.
I'm very familiar with seeing him and his acting and all the Friends stuff that he's done. Now, the first I watched this 1.5 times, by the way, just before I let you know that. The first time I watched it all the way through, it just felt as if it was Chandler on the screen constantly. The second time I watched it, you can notice the subtle differences between Chandler and he's toned it down. It's Chandler, but turned down 2 notches. So it's not as bad as what you find in the Friends series.
So what you're saying is this is rehab Matthew Perry as opposed to
Kind of.
earning enough coke. Matthew Perry. Go on, carry. Sorry.
It's doctor's orders, Perry.
Betty Ford Clinic, Perry.
But I think he does all right with what he's given. The film itself, I quite like the build-up. There were some funny moments I caught myself giggling at, especially when he's driving off of his drive and he does that little...
Pause and
goes
sort of
mad
freak
in
out.
the car, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Starts slapping it around. You think, okay, that's very Chandler-esque type thing, very Matthew Perry type way of doing things. But then he gets down halfway down his driveway and then does it again. Then that's when I get the fulfillment of that joke. So I quite appreciate that moment. The actual movie itself, though, it kind of roller coasters itself. I think it's got, I wouldn't say strong start, but it's got a very cohesive start. It dips towards the middle after he's met the lady in the hotel room, and that's when it starts to sag ever so slightly. When the hits start happening around the houses, that's when it picks up a little bit, and then towards the very end it tapers off. So it fluctuates in its positivity, and I felt it's an all right movie, and I suppose I saw not the twist coming, but you can kind of see that one of the guys is going to get popped off towards the end, and wasn't very impressed with that. But I think I came away with it's all right. I would watch it again, though. I feel. I think this would do very well on rewatches. It's one of them. I think it's one of them comedies where you sit down with your mates, talk about it, and you find stuff in there. And I think if I did that and spoke with other people in it, I would find other stuff. And then it's not quotable, so it wouldn't be from that factor. It's just talking about actual scenes itself. And so I think I'd find the scenes more amusing the more I'd watch them.
Well, you say it's not quotable, but I mean, obviously we are, because it's a Patreon episode, we are going to get some MP3 feedback from Will and Zarish. So I suspect we may find out how quotable it is as far as they're concerned, because they obviously liked it because they suggested it. I'm saying that, but
I didn't think that there was any hard-hitting lines that would be quotable per se, though.
No.
It's like they forgot to put the jokes in.
I don't know. I thought
The punchlines. They're the quotable bits, aren't they?
I don't know. It was. I think it's got a nice soft centre to it. It's a kind of warm comedy. I think I thought it wasn't going to be a comedy, and then it comes out, and you can see it through it. So I'm happy with it. I think it'll grow on me, but then I think I'm 18 years too late for it to grow on me.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well then, nice. Sorry, Darren just showed me something. Right, okay, so let's
enjoying Willy's again.
Is it? No. It was more Easter themed, which I shall not share. Right.
Showing you a chocolate starfish.
Yeah, pretty much. He's shown me his chocolate egg. His Pixar wrinkly skin. So, Jim, how did you find the whole 9 yards? Though I suspect we got a little taste of what you thought of the whole 9 yards in Elton's preview.
Well, I'll just read the notes I made.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay. So, no one told me it was going to be this way. The plot's a joke. It's broke. The love story's DOA. It's like it's always stuck in second gear. This won't make your day, your week, your month, or even your year. Because this movie's poo. Joker and a bore. Movie's poo. Glad I've not seen it before. This movie's poo. It's like Visual Volume 2. Matthew Perry sits there doing nought at all. His character conveys precisely double fuck all. Amanda Peet can flash your baps as much as you like, but this bland movie can still take a long fucking hike. This movie's poo. Watching it was a chore. This movie's poo. It's a sequel? Oh, God, not more. This movie's poo. That's it. I'm through. Ooh, ooh.
Oh, nice. Nice. I like that. Thank you very much for that. I almost feel like we should actually take that again and just actually put it to the music. Bow, bow, da, bow, 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 bow. Nice.
Well, I composed that while waiting for one of the jokes to land.
Golf clap. Golf clap. There we go.
I mean, I think I don't think this is a terrible movie, but God, it's a dull one. The problem was they thought, hey, we'll get Matthew Perry from Friends. He's funny as Chandler, but they made one fatal flaw, one fatal mistake, and that is Matthew Perry doesn't write the fucking scripts he spouts on Friends. It doesn't work. You've got to give him more to work with, and I mean. Like, there's some great character actors in this. Amanda Peet is very good. Bruce Willis, actually, he turned up and was charming and wasn't just phoning it in. Michael Clarke Duncan, as Elton mentioned, always a joy to watch. But the trouble is, at the heart of this film is Matthew Perry, and his character is nothing. He just gets told stuff and gets told to do stuff, and that's it. It's kind of, there's not enough about him to make you care about his situation or his romance. It's just some stuff he happens to do. And his performance is all at that same kind of sub-Chandler level, which kind of, it doesn't work. It's, you know, he's got nothing to work with. He's a man floundering throughout this film. And it's just kind of, there's a vacuum at the heart of it. I mean, it's the problem is that Chandler in Friends, he essentially is the straight guy.
Yeah,
he has the funny lines, but he's pretty much the straight man for Joey the idiot to bounce off.
Yeah,
or Ross the dweeb or whatever. And if you're not feeding him those razor sharp sort of Chandler style lines, he ain't got much else to do.
Yeah.
And in this, there's just kind of these glimmers of what it could be, but his character's just underwritten and underserved by the script. But then again, Bruce Willis's character is pretty underserved for the script. He just vanishes for large chunks of the movie and then resurfaces again and, hey, it's Bruce. Oh, he's gone again. And it's... I just found it... it was just kind of just washed over me, and it was kind of... This should be better than it is, but it isn't, and it's just kind of, it's just you give me the setups, but not the punchlines.
Yeah, okie dokie. So the 5 out of 10 is about right for you then, is it, or is
pretty
it
much? Yeah,
fair enough. Wow, this might be our quickest review ever. Darren, go on, you can get a tea down. Go on. There you go. Wet your whistle, and now it's over to you, sir. What did you think of the whole 9 yards?
What did I think of it?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't as shit as Hudson Hawk.
Few things are, I'll be honest with you.
But you could see that Bruce Willis, he was channeling the character of Hudson Hawk slightly in this.
I will say this is post Hawk by nearly 9 years.
Yeah, but there's also a bit of David Addison in there from Moonlighting as well, which was the character that first put him on the road to stardom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was... I don't know. It just seemed like it was trying to be really hilariously funny. but like Hudson Hawk, it falls short of the mark on a lot of stuff for me.
Yeah.
This is a harmless background film you put on when you're doing something else. I think personally, I sat and watched it. I tried to give it a go.
You didn't watch it 1.5 times.
No, I didn't watch it 1.5 times. I actually watched it once.
And that was
all
that.
the way through.
Right.
So yeah, it's all right, but it's not. I don't know. I think maybe it was. A lot of people have mentioned this in the past, and sort of, it's quite a well-known film, but it just seems a bit average. Do you know what I mean? It's like there was a really successful comedy that was like this, and this is like Asylum trying to do their version of it.
Okay.
So it kind of just falls short of the mark. I mean, this should have been funny. It's got Matthew Perry in it. Well, I'm saying it should be. The film should hinge on him, but you've got Bruce Willis in there. You've got Michael Clarke Duncan, and the guy that played Kevin
Pollak.
Kevin Pollak, exactly. Yeah. Kevin Pollak's funny guy. If you ever hear him tell his story about Christopher Walken, and he does the Christopher Walken impression in that, he's a talented bloke. I like him. So yeah, this film should have been funnier to me than it actually was. But it just didn't. It wasn't.
Just didn't.
Yeah.
It just didn't. Whole 9 yards. It just didn't. That's a poster.
Yeah, it just didn't for me. It didn't quite reach that. So I mean, obviously there were people that found it really funny, so fair enough. But me personally, it didn't really work.
I was going to say, it is interesting that I looked on IMDb after watching this film, and it does seem like there seems to be this kind of wild swinging. I know IMDb reviews are to be taken with a pinch of salt the size of Utah, but it does seem like people either just love it or are nonplussed by it.
I think I'm probably falling into the nonplussed category. I mean, people are welcome to like this film as much as they like, but I personally couldn't see why they liked it so much.
Yeah.
Is there a single reason why that is, though? Or do you reckon it's just a culmination of a lot of things there?
Maybe it tries too hard. I mean, the one bit that I do want a gif of is Matthew Perry losing it in a car, because I feel as though I could put that in on some Facebook posts as just a comment. Where he's sitting in the front of all of a sudden, and he does that thing.
Yeah, undoes his belt first and then just goes freaked out. Yeah, and then he does his belt back up and carries on driving.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So I could, that. Fair enough. Yeah. It's. Yeah. No. I probably won't ever watch this again.
Okay.
If I can help it.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's that whole thing of me and the relationship between me and this film is, see you later. Not if I see you first.
Fair enough. For me, I've got to come out and just sort of put a few things on the few cards on the table right off the bat. Firstly, I can take or leave friends. That's your first thing. I never caught that wave. By the time everyone was into it, I was kind of riding on the back of the hype backlash. It was kind of like, God almighty, if one more person tells me, sort of does this kind of, I don't know, bashing their hands together thing and everyone bursting into laughter in a pub because people are bashing the backs of their fists together. I have no idea what that fucking means. It makes you look like a pillock. And so I was just utterly outside of everything I ever knew. Was it Jennifer Aniston has got lovely hair and she's in FHM all over the place, and that seemed to be her defining thing as far as it was kind of portrayed in the 90s. And, you know, so for me, Friends just was such a non-entity beyond just giving people a reason to have in-jokes without actually having to put the effort in.
I was sorry, I forgot to mention this. I was a fan of Friends.
Yeah.
Now, I hadn't watched that series in a good few years.
Right.
Recently, it became available on Netflix. So I tried to watch it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't.
No.
It was just, oh my God, what is this? It really was like, I don't know, maybe Friends was a thing of its time.
Okay, yeah.
But I just couldn't stand watching it. I just thought...
Are you trying to be down with the kids, Dal?
No, I'm not trying to be down with the kids.
A lot of people have said that since it's come out.
I'm joking.
Yeah, it's just, I think, now I stepped away from it for so long, come back to it, it's like... You can see somebody setting up the joke and somebody standing there with the bat ready to bat it out the park.
Yeah. Well, yeah, without sounding like a hipster, I didn't like Friends when it was cool.
I did. Yeah, but now it's like...
Well, I'm sort of down the middle, because I remember starting watching Friends when it was first on Channel 4, and I enjoyed the first few series, and then just got to a point of kind of where it became a bubble about them. And when it started off, it was about kind of, you know, young people and they were struggling. It was something about they're all successful. They don't actually have to bother going to work anymore. And they're actually also pretty. They can't date anyone but someone else in the group.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, oh, right. This is jump the shark, as we used to say back in the day. And then it continued for another 30 million years, and E4 just repeated it constantly. And then I began kind of like, oh my God, please just let this die.
Well, funny enough, E4 was when I finally did manage to at least catch it, to at least get some sort of context. But by then, like you say, it had been looped around so many times that, you know, and the problem is, even the episode titles were annoying. You know, it's like people are going, oh, the one where Blob gets his teeth whitened or something. And I'm
the one where Jerry blocks a sink.
Yeah, exactly. The one where, Chandler can't flush or something. I have no idea what...
The one where Rachel paints a biscuit.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, to me, all of that stuff was just so cheesy and knowing that I was always on the back curve of that thing and hating every second of everyone else enjoying it. I was a real snob about the whole thing, I'll admit it. But it was just, I literally couldn't get on board, and it was too late for me to do that. So, right from the off, this film is working from a low bar, because I'm looking at Matthew Perry and thinking, okay, he's going to do his Friends thing, but I don't find that charming because I've never watched Friends, or at least I've never watched it to the point where I understood like half the in-jokes and all that bollocks. So when he starts flailing about and doing all this kind of manic stuff, like someone, 1 minute he's being neurotic and then 5 seconds later he's acting like someone put half a pound of cocaine in his sugar,
which he
probably did.
Allegedly.
But you know what I mean? It's just sort of 1 minute he's there and next minute he's doing a frantic thing. And it, to me, the whole film is a film that has a really threadbare script, no gags, but like a Children in Need skit that, you always see on the BBC, the Children in Need skits and the Red Nose Day skits. It's about putting people that doing the thing that they're best known for in a room with no script, because the things they do are so funny, and wouldn't it be funny to see them do it together?
And it's not funny, but we will laugh and give you money.
Yeah, exactly. And that to me was this whole film, and there was a whole slew of comedies like this where it's like, what if Steve Martin was somebody's dad, and then he had to arrange a wedding? Not funny, but here's Steve Martin being Steve Martin in a house. And it's just like, and this is exactly the same thing. It's like, what if Bruce Willis, being diehard Bruce Willis, was in a house next door to that neurotic one from Friends? It's just like, it literally feels like an elevator pitch with no script and just, we can afford these actors, let's put them in a room together and see what happens. Oh, Michael Clarke Duncan was in Armageddon with Bruce Willis, let's put them together because they were cool. And they all just stand around. Every single one of the characters just stand around with nothing to support them. I literally found two things funny, and I did make a note of them because I looked at Carol. We were sitting on the sofa, and I said, "Let's make a note of these," because she's like laughing at the same two things. And I'm like, okay, it's fine to laugh. One was when Bruce Willis catches the fly. He catches it in his hand and he sucks it into his mouth, and then he goes, and you hear the fly go like that. That was a sound gag. I thought funny. And the other one was when Matthew Perry's sitting on a stack of tyres in a garage, and he's sort of sinking into them and trying to look cool as the whole thing kind of flops over. Both of which were good gags, but in the case of the tyre one, the gag finished 5 minutes after you stopped laughing. It's like, yeah, we've done that gag now. Stop cutting back to him. Stop cutting back to him. As you say, Kevin Pollak is in this. Seen him in much better stuff, being much funnier. Yeah. And again, it just felt like I say, like all these other films where they just get like big stars who shouldn't be together in a film because it will be funny to see them together. And to me, that was unfunny comedy decade from about 1992 to about 2002. There just seemed to be hundreds of these fucking things.
Well, it gets shorty as well.
Well, exactly. What if we get post fucking Pulp Fiction John Travolta and put him in a comedy with
Rene Russo, who was big in that Lethal Weapon film
thing, and then that looks like it's going to be a hardcore thing, and then what we do is we stick Danny DeVito in there, see what crazy shit happens.
Yeah, because he can be the Joe Pesci of the Lethal Weapon mix we got going on here.
Well, exactly, and Lethal Weapon itself was doing that sort of thing. What if, or I mean, even fucking Judge Dredd. What if we get Sylvester Stallone and put him with Rob Schneider? Fun will ensue. I know it's not a comedy, but if you look at it that way, I mean, Stallone did. And so that's the problem. I sat there just seeing the gags. I mean, I saw the gags. I just didn't laugh at the gags because so many of them relied on you going, that's that thing that guy from Friends does. That's that thing that guy from Die Hard does. Oh, look, it's Manda Pete. She's wandering around being crazy. Yay. And it's just like, right. I mean...
Yeah, well, going on that comedy, you said about the tyre situation with Matthew Perry sitting on the tyres. Great. I thought that was funny as well. I wasn't rolling on the floor laughing at it, but it got a chuckle out of me. Yeah. But then the next second, when they're telling everyone to be quiet, you have a fart gag.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't understand. Why do all that and then end it with a fart gag? We're not 12-year-olds. I suppose some are 12-year-olds watching this, but that's not where it's aimed at. You've got contract killers trying to kill people in a funny way.
Yeah.
But that's not a real 12-year-old type thing. And yet you're trying to do that. It's very Jim Davidson, isn't it? It's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting for the low-hanging fruit, really.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I'm looking at films like the comedy films of the 2000s, right? So just to sort of back up
Can we look at this director's previous crimes against comedy?
Well, there is that.
I mean, I'm glad I didn't look into it. I knew the name vaguely, and I had a bad feeling, so I didn't look into it. If I had, I would have he would have prejudiced me more against this movie. But he made Sergeant fucking Bilko, which is an abortion of a film, a travesty, and an insult to Phil Silvers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? That was another one of those. Let's take a property which everyone loves, and then just stick Steve Martin in, which seemed to be a sort of a thing that seemed to be going on all the time with Inspector Clouseau and whatnot. But I mean, if you look at some of the comedies of the 2000s, they're all the same sort of thing. You've got Big Mama's House, which is Martin Lawrence and Paul Giamatti. It's like, or
Throw Mama from the train.
Yeah, or
Stop, or my mum will shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Or Bedazzled, which is Brendan Fraser with Elizabeth Hurley. It's like, why? What? And there's so many films like this where you're just sitting there going, what the fuck is going on here? Meet the Parents, Robert De Niro with Ben Stiller. Or Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock, Michael Caine, and, William Shatner. I mean, it just seems like someone just had, during the early 2000s, it's just like people were making comedies by literally putting people's names in a bowl.
I'll tell you what it is, right? There was a fantasy film league, and somebody looked at that lot and thought, do you know what?
Yeah.
That's a great idea for casting, that is.
Exactly. Or Little Nicky with bloody Adam Sandler and then Al Pacino. Oh, no, Harvey Keitel, sorry.
Yeah.
Not Al Pacino.
It's the Deville.
I mean, and that's how I feel about all this kind of era of comedy. It's just like put sort of really diametrically opposite characters together in a situation, make a very basic situation, and then end it with a chase or a gunfight. That just seems to be it. As soon as you get to a situation where there is 3 guys or 3 women and 2 guys, if you basically end up with an uneven number of one sex versus another, you can guarantee that one of the characters will be shot, will run away, or just basically be disposed of before the 3rd act, so that the 2 men and the 2 women can get together. It literally is. The only other rule, even remotely close to that, is if there's a bad guy and he has a female henchman, you can guarantee the hero will team up with a female hero so that the female hero can punch the female villain and the male hero can punch the male villain. It's that kind of era of storytelling. It's literally, you can see the pieces being put in place. There's no story. It's just, this is this bit, like Lego. It's just like, female villain, we must have female heroine because we can't have a male punch the female or the female punch the male, or it's just like click, 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 click. And I found this film the dictionary definition of fucking dull. Like I say, comedy is subjective. People will love things that I don't, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're asking me to look at a film and think, what did I think of it? My thought is, which isn't much of
so what you're
informed
saying
critique. But so what I'm saying is that it was just people in a room who were funny, so therefore you must laugh at what they do. Not a script that kind of requires that sort of elicited humour. And people were saying, "Oh, it's a black comedy. It's a dark comedy because there's this whole thing, with murder plots and setting his wife setting him up and all this kind of stuff." And it's like, well, hang on, if he divorces his wife, she's going to get half his house. And it's like, yeah, but he's paying off her father's debts, which was a big plot that sort of just disappeared after it was the excuse for him not leaving Rosanna Arquette with the most ludicrous French accent outside of Kenny Everett doing Marcel Marceau.
French Canadian.
I have no idea what that accent was, but it was a French accent. It was a little overdone. I mean, it made Inspector Clouseau sound like Egon Ronay. I mean, literally, like
Yeah.
it was just, where did that accent come from? But anyway, and she, but then you look at like proper dark comedies with, people killing off their spouses and partners, like Fargo and stuff like this, where someone's actually written a fucking script. You're like, there you go. That's how you do a dark comedy. But this, it was just, if you're going to write something like, oh, I can't leave her because if I leave her, then she's going to take the house. Yeah, but on the other hand, you won't be paying off her father's debts. Sounds like a win to me. So, and yeah, it's just nonsense. The whole thing was boring nonsense. I literally laughed twice, and I can mention those 2 points. I didn't even really laugh. I just went like that.
So it doesn't fall down because of Matthew Perry then? Because what I was getting at in the beginning, that everyone doesn't like Matthew Perry.
No, it's not that. It's not that it falls down because of Matthew Perry. Well, it does fall down because of Matthew Perry, because so much of Matthew Perry being in it relies on you liking Matthew Perry because of what he did in Friends, not Matthew Perry.
That's not actually his fault, though. That's the director and the scriptwriter's fault.
Well, exactly. But
I wouldn't say. I mean, actors do often carry the can for films not working, but no, I squarely blame the director on this one. That Matthew Perry, I think, is probably a limited comedy performer, but God, give the guy some funny lines to play with. He was really. I mean, I'll give him credit because he was trying to carry this damn film.
Well, yeah,
work with very damn little.
When he was physical with it, I thought he was all right, but then it's Chandler.
Which is my point. It is that whole thing of, you could literally see the cogs working in the writer and the director's brains going, we've just got to let him mug about. And the fact that the funniest bits that any of us have actually mentioned are all physical pratfalls and performances, like Darren mentioning and you mentioning, the freaking out in the car, didn't really work for me.
Where him and Frankie Figgs walk into the room, and you've got Jimmy looking at it, sat down in the chair, and he just turns around, spins, and runs straight into Michael Clarke Duncan. I think that's genius. I love that bit. But it's such a shame. It's such a small snippet of that film.
Yeah, but that's
again, it is just a massive physical performance in that 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as the only other one which I would give you props for it being a gag, but whether or not it was actually in the script is another matter. Is when he runs back into Bruce Willis's house with Amanda Peet in it, and he goes straight in, and the door's closed. And the double glazing's been pulled closed, and he goes straight into it. And he goes doing, and then goes over. Didn't make me laugh, but I could see that being a proper solid gag. But again, those aren't things in a script. Those are things where clearly an actor has gone, I'll tell you what, why don't I try doing this?
Yeah.
And Amanda Peet falling over, and the director going, that's funny, let's keep that in. That's not in the script. So what was in the script? All the funny bits that we've talked about have been physical comedy. So what was actually in the script? I would argue pretty much fuck all. Literally, it is relying on the star power and the star performances to pull this out of the bag, to improvise their fucking way out of it. And it was an utterly nothing film for me. It really was. I know it sounds like I'm getting cross at it, but I actually, do you know what? This is the most emotional I've been in about a week. And I'm not angry. I'm just like kind of vaguely bemused at the whole thing, and just kind of like bored by it. It really bored the fucking arse off me.
Well, I think it's very telling if you look how the sequel did.
Really? How did the sequel do?
Well, the sequel had a budget of 40 million, and only scraped 26 million back.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those cases where the first film did good box office because Bruce Willis fans came, Friends fans came, but they didn't like it, so they weren't going to go for a second one.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's the whole point, isn't it? It's just people just looking at it and go, nah, you're fine. You're all right, mate. We're okay. Right. We're all right. We don't need to see it again. But, but anyway, so, yeah, overall, big flat. I mean, I guess for me, it's a 5 out of 10. It's neither offensively bad or engaging in any way to give me kind of a, oh, that's good, that's great. Yes, give that an extra point. Push it up to a 6. 6 seems a bit. It's beige, as to use Darren's old phrase. It's beige. It's beige of comedy. It is sub-panto beige. So there you go.
I'm willing to give it another watch.
You're
definitely.
a braver man than I, Gunga Din. I tell you. I have to say I feel no compulsion to ever watch this film again. Not because I hate it, but just because I've got much better things to be doing.
Well, you've got nothing from it, have you?
No.
That's the thing. And if you're not getting that, then you're not going to go back for a repeat performance. I could see glimmers of something I might like in there. I think I'm the most positive out of all of us, really, aren't I?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Jim wrote an entire song. I mean,
oh, that's true. Yeah.
Let's not undermine the man's achievements here. His investment in this game
in the 1990s, that would have charted.
He probably would have. But anyway, yeah. So there you go. That's our thoughts on the film. Let's find out what Zarish and perhaps, probably Will, but Zarish's choice. So let's hear what she thought of the whole 9 yards.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to my feedback for the whole 9 yards. I'd like to open by saying what a pleasure and a privilege it is to be able to contribute to the Patreon. That's the first and most important thing. The Black Dog podcast has meant so much to me when I'm able to listen to it. Obviously, I am a weird, broken person, and I can't always do... some things I find a bit of a sort of overload. I can't watch things regularly, and I can't always listen to things, but whenever I do, I just enjoy it so much. And the reason I wanted to get in on the Patreon was because you guys have, in doing the podcast and in creating this community, have given so much to Will, my husband. It's I think it's been quite transformative for him to meet, as he referred to it the first time he met everybody. He's found his tribe, and he's made great friends through the podcast, which has made a real difference to his life, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you for that. And now I'm going to struggle through my notes and hope that they actually make some sense. I think I'm going to start halfway. I suppose I would sort of open by saying I just find the film such a clean watch. There's nothing excessive. It's not... It's shot beautifully. There are some really nice noir angles, like when Jimmy is waiting for Frankie and Oz at the hotel, and when Cynthia and Jill meet at the bridge. There's some lovely camera work there. The plot's clever without being either impossibly complicated, and it's not signposted every 5 seconds, as it so often is in a lot of American films, which I find really boring and annoying. The main characters actually develop and grow, all of them, even the women. Oz stops crashing around like a stressed-out deck chair, trying to collapse. Jimmy gets a new beginning with a wife that he respects and who shares his interests. Cynthia is freed as a hostage. She regains agency over her own life, and she gets a husband who adores her and respects her. And Jill gets everything she ever dreamed of. the whole film is light in touch and in the photography, and I think that is something about Jonathan Lynn as a director that I really enjoy, because you can say that about My Cousin Vinny, which it's such a gorgeous film. It doesn't overdo anything. None of the jokes are overworked or flogged to death. Everyone has enough backstory to add depth to their character, except Frankie. And my personal jury is out on whether that's the usual film industry malaise of not treating black characters with the same level of attention as white characters. But I do find it annoying that the one black character doesn't make it to the end of the film. Yep, he's not the only one to die, and a lot of white characters go first. But still. The film does wrap up all the loose ends. The jokes, physical and otherwise, are properly funny. Pacing is even. It's one of those films that I can return to endlessly and still laugh out loud every time Bruce Willis laugh out loud every time Bruce Willis says, "Do you know what kind of soil we have out the back here? I've only been here for 3 days and I already have little tomato plants this big," and Oz just loses his shit. I mean, there's a lot of moments like that in the film for me, like the bit where they, Amanda Peet and Bruce Willis are sort of cleaning their guns at the dinner table, and Oz storms off and then comes charging back up the hill straight into the glass door. There are just so many things like that, and when the phone rings and he's holding the martini and it just goes hup. I just think there's a real deftness in the sort of physical comedy and how it's been developed that I really, really liked. I first watched this in 2004 when I was living in a friend's guest room for a while and stressed up to my eyeballs. And she offered me her favourite film to chill the fuck out to. And I watched it 3 days running. I loved it so much, and I always have. What's this note? Filming on the hottest day of the year, you can see Matthew's shirt is actually stuck to him. There you go. Rosanna Arquette's dog, Dreadful Sophie, the dog actually belonged to her hairdresser on set. And she really liked it and just sat around with it in between takes, and it ended up in the shot because she was fiddling with it. And the accent she got a lot of shit at the time with a lot of critics saying that she sounded like Clouseau. Excuse me. But she did do a lot of work with a dialect coach, and Jonathan Lynn said that she's actually a natural mimic. And she added, while she was on set, some of the little accent ticks that she heard in her makeup artist accent, and she could copy her accent perfectly. So I reckon that it wasn't as bad as people thought. I'm not generally a fan of slapstick, but I do enjoy the physical humour in this. Matthew Perry is, for all his faults, because I know a lot of people don't like him, he's excellent at just little quiet touches of genius in physical comedy. There's a moment where he hops off the wall that he's sitting on because he's realised that Jimmy could push him off. When he realises that there's someone in his hotel room, he does these steps backwards away from the bed. I don't even know what they look like. I don't know, a heron. A heron with diarrhea. It just is hilarious. When he kneels down to vomit, it's so precise. Literally bouncing off Michael Clarke Duncan and then ricocheting backwards into a lampshade. And as I said earlier, the martini going airborne when the phone rings at Jimmy's house. Oh, and when they're on the boat and Jimmy throws him a can of beer and it just goes straight past him because he's still going, whoa, 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 whoa. I do love all of those moments. Oh yeah, the gangsters, the mob. I really liked that it wasn't sort of a darkened room with all the curtains shut and red drapes and cigar smoke, and it apparently Jonathan Lynn didn't want that. very dark gangstery look either. So they found a house that was very sort of light, with huge windows and floaty curtains, and dressed them all in light linens and cream silk shirts and things like that, which I find very interesting. It's much more interesting to me to see something a little bit different in that way, so I enjoyed that. Kevin Pollak, Wormin, having a vision for the future, wanting to kill Yimmy, and don't blong. Will and I still say that to each other now. If he's going out, I'll say to him, don't blong. He always is, but he's always a long time. But we still say it to each other. Did you notice there was a little Napoleon behind Kevin Pollak when he's doing the whole speech about Wormin? There is a little bust of Napoleon just in the background there. And I think, I'm not even sure that Jonathan Lynn did it. I think Kevin Pollak might have done it, but it was they just thought it was kind of funny because he is tiny and he was playing this sort of egomaniacal character. So they thought they would have this little, maybe a hero of his standing in the background. I have always thought that it was really lovely that Charlie Biddle and his daughter were included in the film so much. The filming of the lunch scene at Biddle's club, it was never meant to be in the closing credits, but you'll have to, I don't know about this gap. But Charlie died in 2003, and so it's really nice, I think, that he's there playing the double bass during that scene at lunch and then in the closing credits. And Bruce Willis's band is also on the soundtrack. I think when Oz travels to Chicago and has lunch with his friend, there's a bit of music that comes in there, and that's Bruce Willis's band, and Bruce is playing the harmonica, so that's kind of cool. I think one of my favourite scenes, possibly my favourite scene, is Amanda Peet when she finds out that Oz lives next to Jimmy Tedeschi, and they go to the front door. They're so good, those three, at bouncing off each other. You know, Jimmy is so cool, and he's like, why the fuck have you told this crazy lady, A, who I am, and B, why have you brought her to my house? Oz is all out of fucks at this point, having found out that his receptionist is a hit lady. And Amanda Peet is excited to meet the hero of her childhood scrapbook. And it's that moment when she does the schoolgirly open mouth thing to Oz, like, it's Jimmy Tedeschi. The flies in the house, that kills me every time. The two houses they were filming in, they paid the people to leave their houses for a month because they needed two houses next door to each other. They were fighting with this incredibly high temperature while they were shooting, and Bruce Willis's house was infested with flies, and they couldn't keep them out of shot, and they couldn't get rid of them. So in the end, the cast just had to kind of work with all the flies. So Bruce Willis does actually catch the fly, although he didn't put it in his mouth and spit it out. But the other good bit is Kevin Pollak going cross-eyed after he's been shot in the neck. One lands right in between his eyebrows. So as he's dying on the stairs, you just see his eyes crossing because he's watching this thing gradually home in on him and land. There's a lot of nice little natural touches that, you know, things went wrong. Amanda Peet really did fall over when she turned her ankle as she was walking away from the house. I think the tomato plants line was improvised as well. And the martinis was Bruce Willis's idea because he felt that it would sort of humanise Jimmy. I've never really been a huge fan of Bruce Willis, but I really love him in this. And I do also like Amanda Peet. I've tried watching her in other things, and she was unwatchable in all of them. So I don't know if anyone else has sort of watched her in things and not liked her, and then come across her in this and liked her for this. The two policemen, I think, are the only bum note. The two policemen that turn up at Oz's office to question him. It's just too hammy. I really intensely dislike them, but their contribution is at least mercifully short, and they do make a nice contrast to Oz's calm and sort of increasingly confident demeanour. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. No worries if not. I will see you back at the cinema on Deck 12 next week. Thank you very much. Oh, and P.S. do not watch the sequel. It will burn your eyes and damage your soul. It is absolutely fucking terrible, so don't do it. All right, thanks. See you. Bye.
Well, thank you very much for that then, Zarish. Thank you for the excellent feedback and definitely what I would say an alternative point of view given our reviews, though I don't know, Elton was kind of a bit more positive. Noir angles and lightness of touch. I guess that kind of thing especially comes down to well, in the case of the noir angles and the filming, I think fair enough. I mean, there was clearly nods to all sorts of Hitman things. I mean, there was as much as after all of the crap I've given it, I have to say there was like nods to things like Prizzi's Honor, and there was things like that where you get those kind of, you know, meeting on bridges and secret trysts and setting up assassinations and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there was lots and lots of tropes in there that were, well, I say well done, which may make me sound hypocritical given my previous review, but let's just put it this way. They were there, I saw them, and I've just knocked my fucking headphones off. Ah! There you go. You put that in there.
Okay.
There you go. Always quality work.
You talk too much with your hands.
I talk too much with my hands, that's what that is. But, yeah, so...
Darren, do
Mr. Tumble.
I'm Mr. Tumble, yeah. No, but, so, yeah, I mean, I saw them. Whether or not that weighs up against the comedy is another matter. But obviously the other thing is, as we said before, comedy is subjective. Mark Commode, for example, always talks about his tin ear for comedy. And I don't think it's a tin ear. I think it's just a case of people find different things funny, and that's fine. I mean, like I say, there was definitely stuff in there that was improv, and that was kept in to be funny, and that's fine. Thank you very much for your very kind words at the beginning of that feedback about the Patreon and what we mean to you and Will especially. You know, we just do what we do, and I'm really glad that, you know, Will enjoys it and you enjoy it, and things, you know, we help in some way, however roundabout, and you know, that's, you know, cool. Though I must admit, probably at this point, by the time our review's done, it's going to be like, right, fuckers, dink. No, I'm joking. So yeah, so thanks for that. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, we have no intention of watching the sequel. I don't know about you guys. Do you want to watch the sequel?
No.
Okay, that's cool. As far as Amanda Peet's concerned, I've just looked through her filmography, by the way, and
I bet you have.
Steady. God damn. All right, I literally was just looking up on Wikipedia. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
There was no freeze frame banister shots. Thank you very much indeed. And I have to say, I can't see one film in there that she's involved with where I think, oh, okay, she was in that. In fact, no.
2012?
Oh God, yeah, she was in that. Yeah. Oh, and she was also in the X-Files. I want to believe.
The only film I've ever seen her in, well, the first film I ever saw her in was one called Evil Woman.
Evil Woman.
Yeah, that one had.
That's not on here.
No. It's probably called something else. It's one of her very early films. If you go back to the start of her career...
Right.
Hold on, let me have a look.
She's the One Fine Day, Origin of the Species, Playing by Heart, Simply Irresistible.
Go back to...
That's the beginning of her career, 1995.
She's the One. Try that one.
Okay, she's the one.
No, it's not that one. No.
Another film which interestingly features Friends alumni with what's it, Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
So there you go. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe she wants to work with Friends people.
Well, Bruce Willis was on Friends as well.
He was. Yeah, I mean, I mean, let's put it this way. I'm glad you liked it, and clearly, as I said right at the very beginning of this whole review, when we were talking to Darren, you know, look on IMDb, there seems to be a whole slew of people who just like it, and everyone else seems to be nonplussed by it. Unfortunately, there seems to be 4 nonplussed people behind this review. You know, but you know, fine. You know, each to their own, and The one thing I didn't notice, though, I'm glad you brought it up, was the Kevin Pollak eye cross thing with the fly. I didn't notice that. I just the thing is, Kevin does this. I can't remember. Does he have a glass eye or does he have a wonky eye? I can't remember if he because he used to do Columbo, didn't he? He used to do Columbo Peter Falk impressions.
Right.
That's right. That's why I remember the eye. So no, maybe I just didn't notice that. That was just kind of a weird thing, which is a shame because I think the fly gag with Bruce Willis was the one that made me laugh. Whereas, you know, if I'd seen that on Kevin Pollak, I might have actually appreciated that.
I'm going to look for Kevin Pollak doing Columbo impressions.
Have you never seen him do Columbo?
No,
he does an excellent Columbo.
I'm just trying to find that right now.
He really does, and he also did something for, I think, Comedy Central where he played. He did the voice of Columbo as a shark. I can't remember the gag. It was like Sharkumbo or something.
Did William Shatner as well. He does
a very good William Shatner. Anyway, so thank you very much for that, Zarish. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you very much for your feedback. And thank you very much for a film that, let's be honest, we probably wouldn't have tackled. I'll be frank with you. So I'm glad we did it, even if we didn't particularly appreciate it. You watching that now? Are you?
I've got it here. I'm just getting prepared for when we shove off.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right. You carry on sorting out your home time entertainment.
1 minute 28 seconds. That's all.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. So thank you very much for that, Zarish. Glad you enjoyed it.
I don't think I never would have recommended it for the docket. I know that.
No.
I don't think it would have been one that would have even sprung to my mind.
No, and that's also one of the interesting things about the Patreon side of things is, you know, people come in and just suggest films. I mean, like The Dish, Steve Murray suggested that last month, and, you know, Zarish has done this month, and, you know, who knows what's coming next. So, we'll find out. You never know. But it's all interesting, so either way. Right, so that's that for this week. Thank you again, Zarish. And so it's time for us to talk about next week's film. Next week's film, he says, desperately trying to get to the fucking thing. Next week's film is, well, I'll be honest with you, I was feeling devilish. Jim put something up on Twitter. He put something up on Twitter which had one of the most appalling posters I think I've ever seen in my entire life. He put it up on Twitter and it made me laugh. Then I looked up on a trailer and it made me go, oh my God, what the hell is that? And then I looked it up on YouTube and found that the full movie was there. And for some reason, little devil me sat on the corner and went, put it on a docket. Have you seen it? Put it on the docket. Because it sounds like shit. And I genuinely have no idea what this film is or what it's about. However, the title might give us a clue, which is The Day Time Ended.
So do we think this is a case of it does exactly what it says on the tin?
It might do. It might do, it might not. I have no idea what this film is or what it's about. All I know is it has a fuck awful poster and a trailer that made my toes curl so hard it nearly snapped my knees backwards. I nearly ended up walking around like a bird after watching this thing. And I just thought, curiosity has got the better of me. I shouldn't even look at this thing.
But I will.
But I will. And I have. And it's on there. It's on the docket. Because I thought, straight out of a Patreon, we have no idea what we're getting. So let's go for something that's clearly fuck awful. Act as like a breath mint for whatever else we've seen. Because, if we see a good film, this would be a palate cleanser. So, do you know anything about this film, Jim?
I only know of it. I remember it got reviewed in 2000 AD.
Okay.
The right kicking.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I've seen it or not. I think I have, but I can't remember a thing about it.
Okay.
It's one of those. When I see it, it might trigger flashback, so it might be all new to me.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to find out. And I apologise now.
Oh my word!
I'm just showing the poster to Darren.
Hold on.
Yeah.
It's got thingy from Dallas in it.
Yeah, Jim Davis.
Yeah, him who played Granddaddy Ewing.
Ewing. Yeah.
Ewing?
Yeah, Daddy Ewing or whatever his name is. Is it Chris Mitchum or Jim Davis? I can't remember what his name is. But it has monsters. It has big bug-eyed aliens. Have you seen the poster yet, Elton?
I think I saw it on Twitter when it was first doing its rounds.
Oh man, you got to look at this.
Their lives. Oh, get rid of that. There, right. Their lives became a living hell when past, present, and future collided. The daytime ended.
Did it have that voice?
It certainly did.
Okay.
Go out of the block from which do it.
If you just look in the chat, Elton, and just click on the link that's in the chat.
I found it on IMDb.
There you go.
Yeah.
It looks special. It does look special. So their lives became a living hell when past, present, and future collided. So none of us have seen this, presumably. If you turn around and say you've seen this, Elton, I will literally eat this microphone. I have no. It would be the final straw.
Well,
no,
never even heard of it.
Dorothy Malone, blimey. Well, there you go. So, Jim, presumably not, because you just posted the poster up, and that's that. Darren, have you seen this film?
Never.
Have you even heard of it?
Never graced my eyeballs.
Right. Neither have I. I've never, ever, ever heard of this film until 2 weeks ago when Jim posted it up. So
I'm gonna have a quick look for it on YouTube now.
Well, if anyone wants to look at it, the film, if you go on to the files section of the Black Dog Podcast, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, and then click on files, you can see that I've actually helpfully included the YouTube link beside episode 353, and we can you can enjoy it all together. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about it. That's all I can say about it. So do take. What are you doing? Why have you got that look on your face?
Oh, hold on. Oh, that is just.
Go on.
That's beautiful.
Go on. What?
It's just I'm watching. I'm just playing a clip of this.
Yes.
Just to see what it's like.
Yes.
And apparently there is a. What looks like a tease maid.
Right. Yeah.
Chasing them into a room.
Yeah.
And it's using laser beams on an MDF door, and it can't get through. So, my fucking word! It's just the look on the guy from Dallas's face is like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I'm firing my fucking agent. What the fuck is it? What am I doing here?
Well, funny enough, I suspect we'll all be saying the same thing by the end of next week.
Oh, it's managing to burn through the MDF now.
Okay. I will say, hold on.
I'll tell you what, they look really worried that this robot's coming to kill them. They look about as worried. In fact, they just look like they found a cockroach in a packet of crisp. It's just that's how unimpressed they are.
Right.
Now the door's on fire.
Oh, okay. Well,
Never mind.
Okay.
Jock Ewing. That's
Jock
it.
Ewing.
Jock from fucking Dallas.
Right then. Well, ladies and gentlemen, check out the Facebook group. Go on to the banner and leave your thoughts if you do feel brave enough to go and look at what is clearly a huge mistake we've made. And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much, everyone. And thank you once again to Zarish and Will and everyone else who supports us on Patreon. And Zarish for picking this film. And yes, we'll be back for the daytime ended. But before we do leave, Jim, do you want to let everyone know about this week's Hypnagoria?
Yes, in the episode just dropped, I have a 2-part review of The Shape of Water. The first part being spoiler-free and the second part being very spoilery indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And coming this weekend and sort of rounding off kind of this leg of aquatic horrors season is a reading of Dagon by H.P. Lovecraft.
I thought it'd be that. As soon as you said there's an aquatic horror, and I thought, I know where this is going. Anyway, cool. Okay. And what about you, Elton?
Okay. Grand Prix podcast is back up and running. So for everyone who likes cars going round and round in circles, that is there for you.
Mm-hmm.
We have a new episode of From the Earth to the Moon podcast. I think episode 7 now.
Mm-hmm.
That's dropping this weekend coming.
Mm-hmm.
And also midweek-ish, we'll have a new episode of Shonky Lab dropping as well. So please pop along to all the normal places to find all that guff.
Lovely. Excellent. And yeah, you can follow Black Dog Podcast on Black Dog Podcast on anything that has a username, basically. Twitter, Facebook, Back of Fag Packets. We're all there. iTunes, you name it. And my Instagram, which is Cartoon Beardy. You can follow me on that, Cartoon Beardy on Twitter as well. But frankly, my graphics output has been reduced down to approximately 0, and me just staring forlornly at white pieces of paper going, I don't know what I'm doing. So probably give that a miss. Right, okay, so until next week when we all come back together for the daytime ended. Yeah, thanks very much for listening, and thanks Jim, thanks Darren, thanks Elton.
Not a problem.
And
Welcome.
We'll see you all next time. Until then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da!
Well done.
Oh, bollocks to it.